The Once and Future Nerd, Book 2, Myth Made Flesh. Chapter 4, I've Been Working on the Whale Road. Part 1, by Rhiannon Angel and Christian T. Kelly Madera. Part 2, by Anya Gibeon, Zach Glass, Shannon Harris, and Christian T. Kelly Madera. Part 3, by Anya Gibeon, Christian T. Kelly Madera, and Gregory M. Schultz. Part 4, by Shannon Harris, Christian T. Kelly Madera, and Gregory M. Schultz.
Had a feeling about you lot. Should have thrown you overboard as soon as I did.
Well, there's a lot of us, so I'd like to see you try.
I'd hazard your spell was effective, Jen. Well done.
Cool. We should probably get up there, though, because, you know, Billy.
Crap, what do you do now?
Pirates!
Oh, eat my fucking ass, you're shitting me.
Nelson, Jen, take Gwen and the child and hide yourselves in the barrels. Quickly now.
Wait, I take it these aren't the zany, wear eyeliner, and stumble around drunk on rum brand of pirates?
They may very well wear eye paint and drink rum, but they are no less dangerous for it. Now hide.
If they're dangerous, then I'm not leaving Billy alone up there.
And I'm not leaving Arlene.
And hiding's no good, Nia. Pirates find hidden things on boats like it's their job. Then we have to fight them, right?
Aye. Let me at them. I'll make the mingy curs wish they never were.
What's that? Grappling hooks. They're bored in.
Guys, I think now would be a good time to, not be here. Oh, Christ. Help!
Come on, Nelson. Let's go.
Right behind you, girl.
Me too.
Wait. We can't just run up there with our thumbs up our twats. This is gonna take some finesse. Oh, get over it, Nia. We all came from one.
Your language ceases to shock me, Your Grace, but to hear you advise caution does.
Well, we don't have enough swords to take on a boat full of pirates, and they're gonna know that as soon as they see us.
The thief queen of Armstrongard and true queen of Jordan hastily surveyed her surroundings.
Jen, grab that clay jar.
We now return to Billy's side above deck and jump backwards in time just a moment as the practiced marauders begin their boarding maneuvers.
Well, we're in it now. I'd recognize that banner sure as I'd recognize my mom's left pap. That's the flag of Red Wren the Ruthless.
Oh my God, isn't that Red Wren?
I think it's Red Wren. Oh no! Red Wren the Ruthless. All right, Red Wren.
As the grappling hooks pulled the two vessels together, planks were lowered to bridge the gap between them. Amidst the things along the sides of ships. Sorry, I'm a wood sprite. This nautical sojourn is asking a lot. Did you know that boats are in essence big mouldy piles of my friends' twisted corpses that your kind casually rides around in for warfare and pleasure and everything in between? How's that terminology for you? Does it make you feel good about your choices? Sorry, yes, the pirates.
Guys, I think now would be a good time to, not be here. Oh, Christ. Help!
Oh, now you take this seriously, huh? Well, if you're smarter than you've been till now, you might just live through this. Everyone, keep your wits. When they come aboard, show them your hands. No sudden movements, and give them what they ask for, quick as you can.
And indeed, no sooner had the captain spoken than the pirate crew began to board, leaping between the railings. Ah, yes, that's the word. As if the distance and danger was that of a garden stepping stone. The fact that the small merchant ship's crew was woefully outnumbered was immediately apparent. Within moments, the merchant vessel was crawling with marauders in rough-spun clothes, faces hidden with all manner of masks and hoods and cowls.
Hey, you wanna die today? You wanna die today?
Then all heads turned as a large man with flaming red hair and an equally fiery beard, which he made no effort to hide, crossed between ships.
Oh, by gods, perfect weather today, wouldn't you say? Not a cloud in the sky. Oh yeah, I couldn't ask for a better day. Now, who's the captain of this beautiful ship?
Steadily, cautiously, Otto Olafsson stepped forward.
I am Captain Otto Olafsson. I assume I'm addressing the captain who calls himself Red Wren. Your legend precedes you, and we're prepared to cooperate. As you can see, we're all...
The large man hit Captain Olafson across the face with a massive, meaty fist and sent him careening into the ship's mast, where he collapsed in a quivering heap.
Now, where's the first mate? You've been promoted! If you'd be so kind as to go fetch us the manifest, we're gonna tie the rest of you up, okay? And if anyone tries anything clever, I'll pull them inside out, starting from their private bits, don't you know?
As the pirate surveyed the cowering crew, his eyes fell on Arlene. Dirty as she was, she most certainly did not look as if she belonged on the deck of a boat.
Well, well, well. Morning, dear. Now, I might be crazy, been called it before, don't you know, but you don't look to me like a sailor. In fact, I'd hazard a guess you were born into money. What do you think, boys and girls? Oh yeah, sure. Lots of money. Maybe even lands and title. Would one of you be a dear and bundle her up on the Red Reaver right away? Make sure she's comfortable and treat her as suits her rank, you lousy flea-bitten sons of no one.
But just as two pirates were approaching a petrified Arlene,
Hey, Red Rum!
the behemoth pirate turned toward the sound of Billy's voice and was met with an awe in the face.
Danny isn't here, Mrs. Torrance! Huh!
Though the makeshift weapon had knocked the large man back a few steps, he didn't seem terribly bothered by it. He addressed Billy very calmly, as he dabbed at a small trickle of blood from his nose.
Oh, by gods, here I am being as polite as can be, don't you know, and then you have to go and be rude.
The massive marauder grabbed Billy by the neck with one hand and lifted him off his feet.
Now I'll have to butter my bread with your rib bones and drink a toast to your mother out of your shattered skull.
Settle down, Freckles. Or we'll all be doing a lot more swimming than we bargained for.
Strolling casually out of the doorway of the ship's hold came Regan. The elbow of her broken arm was hung through the sleeve of her cloak, so that the garment served as a makeshift sling. At her side were Nelson, Gwen, and of course Jen, who held a small clay pot high over her head.
Whole ship's rigged to blow. I throw this behind me and we're all chum. So put him down.
Now I call horse feathers on that.
You want to bet your life on it? This ship's come from the South Sea. Hold's full of thunderdust for the war effort. Of course, you'd know that if you'd done your fucking job and read the manifest instead of getting in a pissing contest with a teenager. I expected better from Red Wren the Ruthless.
Put him down.
As the pirate dropped Billy, Gwen took the opportunity to shuffle over to Arlene and grasp her hand tightly.
Can you crawl towards us, babe?
But the pirate planted a heavy foot firmly between Billy's shoulder blades.
Oh no, I can't have that. He stays right within stomping distance until we sort out this bomb business. Now, how's about you put that thing down gently?
I'll hold it at waist level.
So, you've heard of us. Any chance I've heard of you?
Regan. Irana Margaret Regan. Been called the Thief Queen of Armstrongard.
Prove it.
Now, how in the fuck would I do that? It's not like they give you a goddamn sigil ring. And unlike you, I don't have anyone to sit around and sew me a flag.
Let the stupid boy go.
Then the throng of raiders grew silent and quickly parted to make way for a short woman, dressed head to toe in black, her face half covered with a cowl.
I'll hear her out.
Are you sure, Mum?
I don't know if she's the thief queen, but she just bested you lot with a jar of saltfish or whatever else she's got in there. Ain't no thunder dust. You have my attention for a moment. Make the most of it.
Yeah? And who the fuck are you?
The woman lowered her cowl and looked straight at Regan. Her eyes were a vibrant rose red.
Them that sell these seas call me Red Wren the Ruthless.
Dope.
Show some gosh darn respect to Red-Eyed Wren Sven's daughter. First of her name, only living child of Sven Johnson, son of John Ronson, son of Ron Swanson.
Ron's dad was called Harold.
So all that half-orc stuff you spread around is actually true.
We tell people me got red eyes. We tell people what happened when we visit a ship with crew that thinks they're tough. Them fill in the rest.
And this big fucker here, the old make everyone think your giant bodyguard is you grift. Flashy.
Oh, Firebeard here's an odd one. But he's good in a fight and got a good head for numbers. No, speak. Irona Margaret Regan. Me getting bored already.
You ever heard of me, Ren?
I've heard of the Thief Queen of Amstromgard. Me hear say she's not been seen around for a while.
You ever been to the Bloody Rat?
I don't go ashore.
Oh, yeah, sure, I know the place. Heard it burned down.
It did. City guard is trying to burn me with it. And then this one here, name's Jen, she burned down the well-groomed lemming to throw the guard off her tail after she killed a sergeant. So, yeah, we had to split town.
Ren Svensdotter appraised Jennifer Andrews suspiciously.
That was you killed that sergeant.
He had it coming.
Couldn't have timed it better myself. Whole city guard was tied up trying to find the killer. Left the warehouses by the docks wide open. We made a small fortune that day. Shit, madame, near owe you a favor. Alfie, for Galadin's sake, will you let the boy up?
Right then, off you go.
As Alf Firebeard lifted his foot from Billy's back, the young man scurried away as quickly as he could back towards his friends.
Appreciate that. And you're welcome. Now, obviously you're in a position to do us one more kindness. But I think we can help you out too. Can we go somewhere to talk?
And then suddenly...
Oh no, you boxy villains!
Brennan vaulted out of the ship's hold with axe held high.
Surrender your weapons or die where you...
And immediately ran to the railings.
God.
Who is this old geezer?
He is the legendary Brennan of Greyfield. I'm sorry, he refused to stay in the hold.
Heard of him?
The beast of Black Hole. You're trying to impress Red Eye Ren with a famous orc killer.
Regan opened her mouth to respond, but was not entirely sure how.
Who else is with you? We'll find them soon enough. Best not to get our negotiations off on the wrong foot.
These two have a child with them, and I've got an elf.
An elf?
He does what I say.
You'd better have something goddamn worthwhile to offer me, Thief Queen.
It's gonna take a while anyway to unload this ship. My crew will help.
We'll do what?
Meanwhile, you and I parley.
All right.
Ren turned to address her crew.
Gather them all up, take their weapons, then tell them what to do.
What happened to the captain?
I did, don't you know?
May I please tend to him? Head wounds can get out of hand very quickly if not treated. You may have my staff. I am otherwise unarmed.
Fine. But then take a look at one of my ensigns. Had the cut go putrid.
I can promise no particular outcome, but I'll do all I can.
Regan, we'll use the captain's quarters on this ship for the time being. Bring your second.
My what?
Haven't you got a second in command?
Oh yeah, of course I do.
Hastily, Regan surveyed those who stood by her side. The seasick old knight, the steadfastly principled acolyte, the trembling noblewoman, and her handmaiden.
Jen, come on. Okay.
Upon her return to the White Forest, it was only with the greatest reluctance that Relotit took the advice of her inferiors and stopped by the tree where the ill were cared for. But then again, meditation can only stave off the effects of 2 shattered legs for so long.
There you are, Lord General. This will soothe the pain and help the bone to set.
Thank you, Doctor.
I've grown used to the battlefield. I should remember to appreciate the comforts of home from time to time.
Or else, what is it all for? I don't know if you remember, Lord Commander, but I served under you many years ago.
Oh, of course I remember. Your name is...
Renaud, Commander.
Yes, that's right.
And if you don't mind me saying so, you were a great leader then, and you're a great leader now.
Well, thank you for saying so, Renaud.
I'd not fret over much about this business with the council.
And what business is that exactly?
Oh, whatever they're displeased with you for.
Whatever it is you think you heard, I'd remind you that such matters are confidential.
Oh, well, you know how it is. I have a nephew who's a page to a trustee.
I'd encourage you to remind your nephew that the council's secrets are secret for a good reason, and that the safety of the realm often depends on them remaining as such.
Of course, Taid, I meant no disrespect.
Talk to that nephew of yours, or I shall.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you waiting for me to comment on the door? Oh, I thought I'd made my policy quite clear. Let's get on with the program.
Ah, hello, nephew. Is the council ready for their guest?
And so did the young elvish page escort the venerable general to the massive chamber in which the High Council of the White Forest held its meetings. As the council looked down upon her from their circular dais, Ree held herself high over the diminutive podium where Brennan had been made to stand not a fortnight prior.
Lord Commander Reloteet, the purpose of this meeting is to hear you explain how it came to be that a Mimiot soldier was permitted to witness a mass culling of orcs.
I'm sorry. A culling?
Yes, for as we're all aware, the Mimiot are a gullible and at times soft-hearted race, and such sights could easily pervert their sympathies.
Taid, your care in this matter is wise,
My
but...
spouse and I have served on this council 4 centuries, and I submit with pride that the human realms, their typical squabbles and foibles aside, have shown peace and docility for the entirety of our tenure.
And for mine, Taid,
And
but
so,
I must...
General, this council is supremely interested to hear how this situation escaped your control, and what is being done to mitigate the damage.
Of course. But might I first inquire as to the source of your information?
General, I believe you were called here to answer questions to us.
Of course, Taid. But if we're to confront this problem, ought we not share what we know about it with each other?
We heard from our child, Yelloween, who heard it from a Mimiot soldier. Does that suffice?
And Yelloween says only that a culling has been witnessed.
Witnessed and gossiped about by Mimiot soldiers who say they can see no difference between Urkiet young and Mimiot young.
I see. Very troubling indeed. The council has my most abject apology, and my assurance, though I am not yet certain how this has happened, I intend to devote myself fully to finding out and solving the problem. Now to that end, might I inquire, Taidi, when was the last you heard from your child Yelloween?
Now, why would that matter?
I simply hope to estimate the potential reach of the problem.
Do you mean to imply that my child would have been foolish enough to spread what he had heard?
I mean to imply nothing of Yelloween. But soldiers' gossip can spread like wildfire.
Yes, we're aware.
Oh, she means your child no insult, Taid. Yellowin was here 2 days ago. He told his parents what he heard, and they immediately summoned the council and sent Yellowin back to the Memiet to contain the situation.
If that is the case, then Taid Winlodik, Taid Batloyil, I'm afraid your child may be in danger.
Danger? What danger?
I'm afraid the Mimiet he rides with may not be well-intentioned.
Do you mean Sir Brennan?
I mean specifically the low-born girl who claims to be his arms-bearer. I grew suspicious of her when she testified before this council, and so I made inquiries regarding Brennan's entire party. I now believe she intends to press a very dubious claim to the Mimiet throne, based on a relationship between Gunta Gornatel and this woman's grandmother, a prostitute. Yes, the claim is indeed laughable, But for someone in such a position, a Hilyet hostage with parents on the High Council could prove very useful.
At this, Yelloween's parents shared a look of deep concern.
If you feared this might be the case, then why did you wait so long to let any of us know?
She seemed a known quantity, and I figured it useful for Yelloween to keep close watch on her.
That was not for you to decide.
I of course understand your concern, Taid. If you would permit me to make amends, I would leave here at once, ride through my injuries, and find your child as fast as the fastest horse in Jordan can carry me.
No, thank you, General. You worry about this Memyet gossip. We shall send our house's personal guard after Yelloween.
Your personal? Taid, with respect, I don't doubt your bodyguard's dedication or fighting prowess, but none in Jordan can track or ride as my knights can. Allow me to do you this service and put your minds at ease.
General, the safety of our child is our concern. The safety of the realm is yours.
If you insist, but in any case, I must be getting back to my duties. I trust the council has been satisfied with my testimony.
Not quite, General. Before you leave, we wish for you to furnish us with the names of 3 persons serving under you who might be suitable to lead the Taller Heel.
Excuse me?
Oh, you know how it is. Just in case the need should arise.
Not gonna say it. As Reloteet stormed out of the High Council chamber some 10 minutes later, she made no effort to conceal her fury. But as she approached her mount, she saw the physician called Reynald standing nearby.
I hope you don't mind me dropping in, Taid. I wanted to leave you some more medicine for the road.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm afraid I must be going now.
I'd hazard a guess it did not go well with the council.
Reynald, if ever these trees should wither and these walls should crumble, make sure to know the politicians and bureaucrats were to blame.
If it makes you feel any better, Taid, politics is a delicate and oft-times inscrutable game. Even the greatest soldiers may find themselves outmaneuvered.
I have not been outmaneuvered. Some worthy adversary has not backed me into a checkmate. An idiot child has stumbled into the room and upended the game board. We're for freehold. Ride like you never have. Here!
We resume our tale in the quarters of one Captain Otto Olafsson, whose ship, you'll recall, had recently been overrun by a large band of raiders. At this moment, the quarters had been commandeered by the leader of the outlaws so that she could have a private conversation with Regan.
So, if I give you passage to Armstrongard, what are you prepared to give me?
You mean aside from the gold we already gave Olafsson?
His goal is my goal now and will be no matter what. So that's no offer.
Also present at this negotiation were Jen and the pirate called Alf Firebeard. At the moment, the 2 seconds were locked in a staring contest. A rather absurd-looking staring contest, as Alf towered over Jen by closer than not to a full 2 feet. But the young woman mustered all the apparent ferocity she could under the circumstances.
I'd like to know what you think you're looking at there, little missy.
Nothing much.
Look, I'll be honest with you.
Hey, where she's from, a thief trades on her word more than gold. I thought you'd know that.
Thank you, Jen. I was saying we don't have much coin beyond what we already paid for passage. Can scrounge up maybe another 15 pieces, but that's it. But...
Regan gesticulated emphatically, as though to convey the gravity of what would come next.
You strike me as people who'd benefit from friends in high places.
I'm listening.
Jen. What? Tell her.
Tell her what?
For fuck's sake. Do the name and titles thing.
You sure?
Just fucking...
You're addressing Irana Margaret Regan, last scion of the great house Guernatal, champion of the civilized peoples, and rightful high queen of the human realms of Jordan.
Oh dear. Oh, that's what you come to offer us.
Girl, There is no more house Gwen at all. Me never gave a shit about civilized peoples. And if your bum ever touches the high throne, then my paramour's face is Galadin's mead bench.
When I found out, I thought the exact same thing. But turns out his late Majesty Gunther was diddling my grandma.
Yeah. You and half the orphans in Amstrangard.
But he was gonna make it all legitimate and shit until Ardell Redmore had him killed.
Oh, yeah, sure he was.
I know how it sounds.
I wonder how the elves and the great houses would react to this claim of yours.
I haven't exactly declared them yet.
Oh, but of course.
Wasn't the right time last time I saw them.
You mean you were scared?
I mean I wasn't a fucking idiot under the circumstances. But now I am pushing the claim.
Why?
That's my business. Point is, I'm building an army. And one day, not too long from now, gonna need a navy too. How's Admiral Wren strike you? Maybe Captain Elf?
Ulf, the ledger.
From a satchel at his side, Alf produced a hefty hand-bound tome and dropped it on Olafsson's desk. And, knowing what was about to be asked of him, he pilfered Olafsson's quill and hastily set to scribbling some figures.
My pa always said to me, him say, Rin, to survive this line of work, you need to be a good sailor, a good fighter, a good negotiator, and a great bullshitter. And Thief Queen. You got a special knack for bullshit to bring a tall tale like that in front of the greatest bullshitter to ever sail the seas. If it was up to me, I'd be inclined to do you a favor.
Who's it up to then, Captain?
Ulf, what's the ledger say about doing the Thief Queen a favor?
Well, if you reckon with the ships, we won't be able to visit on our way, don't you know? And the foodstuffs, we won't be able to fence before they rot. It's a deceptively costly endeavor.
Let me see that.
I learned many times over. Don't question Alf on figures. Man's some kind of wizard.
Rationing coefficient, rate of attrition in barrels per hour. Where'd you learn this?
Uncle was a fishmonger, taught me the basics. Picked up that trick for working with an unknown number from a Mooncrest deserter. Rest I taught myself.
This is incredible. He's mastered algebra and he's halfway to calculus.
All right, keep it in your pants.
Don't know all that's in Olafsson's hold yet, but I'd reckon we turn a very slim profit.
That, plus the gold we gave him, plus the extra gold we're gonna give you. That's still not a bad day.
But when you split it among the crew, it'll fetch them one fun night at part and little else. On the other hand, if we were to ransom that elf or that high-born girl...
No way. They're off limits.
Ren the Ruthless cocked an eyebrow at Jen.
You got the numbers, sure. But we can make that kidnapping cost you a fuck of a lot.
In a practiced motion, Regan brushed back her cloak, revealing the small armory she kept on her person at all times.
Try me if you don't believe me.
Well, now there's no need to get ornery.
I'm not saying I do that, tough girl. But just explaining the position you leave me in. A ransom like that? Why, it's damn near enough for somebody to buy their way out of this life. My crew knows it. If I let the chance go, and all I give them in return is some cock and bull story about a bastard queen, how's that likely to turn out, Alfie?
Well, if not for the impeccable moral fiber of our crew and their steadfast respect for authority, that's the type of thing that'd start a mutiny against a lesser captain.
So you see my problem. A captain's not a queen. When her subjects go hungry because she's a fool, she actually has to answer for it.
It's a long-term investment. Alf, you get it, right? Compound interest.
To hear yourself tell it, that investment depends on an army of, what, 9? Most of them not fighters, winning a war against all the great houses, and maybe the elves.
I really would like to help you, Thief Queen. Give me something I can promise my crew today that won't insult their intelligence.
Give me 10 minutes.
And so, Regan returned below deck to the side of her very ill knight to discuss an idea she'd had.
Your Grace, you cannot trade the Guernatal Talisman of Dominion for passage aboard an outlaw ship.
I can't see any other way that gets us all safely to port.
But without it, how will we ever hope to—
What? Claim I'm legitimate in front of the elves? That ship has sailed, my friend.
But it is ancient and priceless. I beg of you.
Look, I know who this belonged to. I know it means a lot to you. But you want me to be queen. Gunther wanted me to be queen. If we can't give up something shiny to keep my people safe, then what are we even doing?
Back in Olafson's quarters.
Well, fuck me. Now you're talking sense.
As the talisman caught a stray beam of morning sun through a porthole, its jewels cast a dazzling dance of rainbow light across the otherwise drab cabin.
How in Selberin did you nab that?
I told you, it's mine by birthright.
Sure it is.
Well, it's more mine than it is Adel fucking Redmore's. Anyway, it's too hot to fence in Amstrangard. But you'll find somebody in the sugarcane isles who'll melt it down, no problem.
Dare say I will.
So is that a deal?
In exchange for this treasure, safe passage to Amstrangard for you and your whole crew. We can't make part, but we'll get you close enough to row and throw on a boat, no charge.
Wren spit in her hand and presented it to Regan.
What about the other part? Do I have a navy yet, Admiral?
Don't push your luck. And don't ever spurn my open hand.
Fine. Deal.
Jethro, the woodsman who had captured the half-orc Traft, was reciting an arcane and forbidden spell out of his skin-bound grimoire. Torchlight danced manically across the walls of the cellar as the old man's voice pronounced the incantation. In the corner, the creature Caleb whimpered. The corpses of Jethro's previous guests were still, the dead eyes seeming to stare directly into Traft's soul. Traft lay still, bound to the table, waiting for something to happen. He waited and waited. And waited.
Am I supposed to be feeling something here?
Hush now. Concentrate.
Jethro resumed his chanting. 5 minutes passed. And then 10. After 15 minutes had passed without a single sign of anything happening, Traft's patience snapped.
All right, that's it. You convinced me to cooperate, gods. Help me, I guess I'm still a fool for Dagmar, but we've been up all God's damn night, and you haven't told me anything more about what you're trying to do.
Boy, I told you I ain't got a time for
But you got time to say gibberish for God's only knows how long?
Boy, you will not disrespect my magics. They are ancient and very hard-learned.
Maybe so, but tonight they ain't done shit. And now I'm tired, so you start talking or I am done. You're gonna have to cut me up for your porridge after all.
All right. Cool yourself off now. What you want to know so bad?
You keep saying I'm gonna see Dagmar. I'm gathering you don't mean in a poetic sense, where all the good little boys and girls meet in Selborne after death and eat pies and sing hymns to Galadon.
Nay, I don't mean it like that. If I'm right about what I've been working on, you could touch her, smell her, as though she's standing right yonder.
You know you sound out of your head, right? Shit, maybe you don't know that. Why do you think we can meet her again?
I first met Dagmar, must be near 20 years ago now. I served the House of Greenhorn then, but I never rose no higher than a petty knight, and I was well past the fighting age. But they kept me around. I guess they thought it was courteous. They sent me with Dagmar when she came to Gwenital's court. We spoke often. We became close. We spoke about life, about philosophy. I found that Dagmar and I share a number of values.
You may recall, dear listener, that Dagmar had shared very similar conversations with Traft. You can be sure that Traft recalled it all too well.
Then I began having dreams. In them, Garadian gave me instruction, told me to go to this location or that. I met others at these locations. Templars, you called them. They taught me things, great powers, gave me their vestments and idols. I rose in their ranks. And then, one night, the dream sent me to an inn outside of Brimshire. Dagmar was there. It was her, but not just to her. Something in her I'd never seen before, and she bore this very staff I hold today. Lots of other Templars had to come too. We captured the Crown Prince, Uta. Took him out in the middle of the woods. The conversation Dagmar had with him, I never forget it.
Not your most imaginative work.
You haven't seen the interesting part yet.
See you soon, my dear.
Will you?
They were talking to each other, but it was like they weren't them. And then she stabbed this very staff through the prince's heart.
Wait. You're telling me that Dagmar herself killed Uther Gwernethal? The biggest assassination in centuries, and it was done by his own stepmother?
I'm saying she did more than kill him.
And she kept it from, well, me and everyone else in the damn world, all while sharing the king's bed. Why would she do that?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you if you shut your yap. She told us to lower our hoods and to close our eyes tight. I did. But when Uther breathed his last, I could see like a bright sunny day, even through all that. And when I opened my eyes again, the prince's body was gone, without no trace.
So what's that mean?
For a long time, I didn't know. I spent years trying to understand. Only one thing I did know. Whoever was coming to me in my dream, she and Dagmar were one and the same. By then, I dreamed every night for 3-4 years. True dreams, too. The dreamer tells me to go somewhere. Sure enough, someone's waiting for me. And I tell you, that night, it was Dagmar's body, her voice. But sure as the sun has set, it was Garadian done the killing.
This should have struck Traft as the ramblings of an unwell old man. To be fair, it was literally the ramblings of an unwell old man. But he thought back on his life, on his time shared with Dagmar, and something of the old man's story struck a chord.
Well, if that's true, why Garadian kill Uther?
That time you knew her, was she not a fond of saying, Galadin is a gone from this world?
Well, yeah, I guess I always figured she meant in the poetic sense.
I don't think she did. I think that for a time, Galadin was Uther, the same way that Garadian was a Dagmar. And then she found a way to send Galadin to another place that he couldn't easily come back from.
Wait, that's where you want to send me? Someplace I can't come back from?
But I think you can come back. That's what I've been working on all this time.
Working on and failing?
But the others didn't believe like you do.
Wait, now hang on. I take it you reckon this traveling is done by means of magic?
Ah, that I do.
So, assuming they were to believe like you say, it stands to reason that someone better trained in magic than I am would have a better chance of being able to come back.
Suppose so. But the snows will be back before long. No one in their right mind gonna be through this pass anytime soon.
Just so happens your old friends the Templars, they're looking for me. None too pleased how my last battle went. They probably weren't too far off my trail when you found me. If I went out and drew just a little attention to myself, I'm sure you could catch you a Templar or two. How'd that serve?
A twisted grin crept over Jethro's face. As the crew of the Red Reaver transferred their newly won loot from Otto Olafsson's ship over to Ren's, Arlene and Gwen stole down to the hold.
No need to wake. Wasn't that a comfy bed for you? Who'd have thought a sack of flour and some straw could make a suitable cradle?
He certainly slept soundly enough, all through the commotion up on deck. Oh, Gwen. When you left your family to go serve the nobility, did you ever imagine being in a place like this?
Can't say I did. But then, I never imagined I'd meet the love of my life either. Galadin's plans are hidden from us all.
Yes, some days more so than others. This is no place for the young one. What are we to do here?
The same thing we've been doing all along. The best we can under the circumstances.
We now return to the camp of Bryce Riverfell, where the general was finishing supper with his inner circle. I would be remiss not to remind you that Regan and her makeshift court had him to thank for their escape from Freehold.
To General Riverfell!
Hear, hear.
No, settle down. I've got a few words to say, if you don't mind.
Hey, shut up, you drunken idiots! Your general's trying to speak.
Thank you, Gareth. We all know, some too well, as we've watched our sworn blood brothers fall by our side, some kin and some closer than kin, for some our fathers, mothers, brothers before us. We know that the life of a soldier is often hard and brief. Whether by choice or necessity, for valor or to feed our families, we put ourselves on the line and hope that in the end, our work is just and does some good in the world. Which is to say, we carry a heavy burden, and you and all your fallen friends have carried that weight admirably and honorably. And with the completion of repairs to the outer hold, a full 2 weeks ahead of the impossible fucking schedule we were given.
Yes.
All right. Now all the realms can sleep a bit easier tonight. So on this evening, I wanted to raise a glass and a ruckus to Brotherhood, to thank you for your service and your partnership, and to assure you that it is the greatest honor of my life to serve among you. Here's to you. Now, if you'll all excuse me, I have some other business to attend to. Back east.
Woo! Give Bailey a kiss for all of us, General!
Watch it now, Sergeant. Gods be with you all. Sleep well. Professor, a word before I leave?
And so did the most erudite of Bryce Riverfell's captains follow the general to his private study. General, I can tell something's on your mind.
Nothing gets past you, buddy. Got a good crew I built over the years. You, Clarence, Gareth, Max, Stefan, Niels, each one of you is a great fighter in your own way. I'm glad to know this infantry be in good hands if ever I wasn't around.
I appreciate the compliment, though I'm not sure I like where this is headed.
It's not headed anywhere, yet. I'll just, well, you've got a way with words. I'd like you to start preparing everyone for the possibility of a change in leadership.
You're not ill, are you, Bryce?
Maybe, but not like that. To tell you the truth, I'm thinking it's time to retire.
Retire? You can't be serious.
It's a tough job, Professor, I won't lie to you. I've just seen too much. It's an important thing we do here, fighting to protect those who can't fight for themselves. A noble cause. I gotta believe that. Whosoever leads that effort needs to do it with all their heart, and that ain't me anymore, so getting out while I still can.
I suppose there's no talking you out of it. What'll you do with all your spare time?
Take it day by day for once in my life?
Your men will Both men instantly recognized the distinctive sound of that very particular horn. The Knights of the Wood? Back here again?
There go my plans for the evening.
The professor quickly caught a flash of something in Bryce's eyes, just before he bent to a locked cabinet beneath his desk. Bryce retrieved a bottle of brown liquid from under his desk, along with a single drinking glass.
Not in the sharing mood?
Well, it looks like you've got to work tonight, Professor.
Were you expecting the elves, Bryce?
Sooner or later I was. Was hoping it'd be later.
Then Bryce bent down again and replaced the bottle in his locking cabinet.
Maeve's gonna be pissed. Told her to wait up for me.
I'm sure she'll forgive you.
She always has. Will you make my excuses for me? In person, if you can manage it.
Something about the earnestness in Bryce's request caught the professor off guard.
If you say so, Bryce.
Come.
Lord Relotied here to speak with you. Says it's urgent.
Of course it is. I'm coming. Bottoms up, as they say.
Bryce drained his glass before leaving his study to answer Relotied's summons. As the crew of the Red Reaver loaded the last bit of Otto Olafsson's cargo onto their ship, Regan and her court began to make their way across the, what do you call it? Gangplank?
Oh, yeah, we're all loaded up, Mom. Just waiting on our new passengers there.
Well done. What are you lot waiting for?
After you. I insist.
No pirate worth her salt gone walk a gangplank with her back to a thief she hardly knew.
Then why would a thief turn her back on a pirate?
I believe there's a riddle your kind is fond of. It involves a fox, a chicken, some grain, and a rowboat. Do you know the one? This was like that, except they were all foxes and all rather cranky. And Jen, for one, had little patience for riddles.
Hey, sorry, I left my tape measure at home. But I'm sure both your dicks are enormous.
I see why you like her.
I'll go first, Your Grace. As a show of good faith.
Nia, help him over. He should be half his weight by now.
I'll help him over. So, Brennan, I am sorry I didn't remember until now, but I might have something for your nausea. Place this between your cheek and jaw.
Elf medicine?
Of a sort.
And as the human cargo one by one transferred from the merchant ship to the pirate ship, Olafsson and his crew were left tied to the mast. In fact, it had been Billy himself who was tasked with fixing the knots on Olafsson himself.
Sorry, dude. You know how it is.
You filthy ingrate. I risked life and limb to take you on my ship, and this is how you repay me? You're the son of 1,000 fathers, each one a bastard like...
But Otto Olafsson managed to slip his gag just as the pirates cast off from his now barren vessel.
You salt-drenched sons of Scavior!
He put on quite the show for his crew, yelling and struggling until the pirates were out of earshot.
And you'll deserve it. And as you die, Garidian's rotten hounds will turn you away from the gates of Selbrun for smelling too foul!
And then Otto's hand found a small, hard object he didn't recognize. As he wriggled it around to his feet, he saw it was a small, retractable knife with a red hilt and a white cross insignia, and the name Billy scrawled on it.
And
as Olafsson's screams and curses echoed into the wind, the Red Reaver prowled away towards Armstrongard. Though Regan seemed relatively comfortable on the deck among rogues and thieves, the rest of our party was considerably more cautious and uneasy. So they settled once more in the hold of a ship, surrounded by quite the same cargo as before.
So we're basically Keira Knightley on Jeffrey Rush's ship now, right? Or are we Legolas hanging out with Johnny Depp? I'm not sure which is the better option.
As long as no one turns into skeletons at night, I say just go with it. Look, at this point we have to trust Regan that she knows what she's doing. These are her people, I guess.
As much as I prefer the company down here to that upstairs, I think I must get some fresh air.
My apologies, Nia. The nausea is fading at last.
Oh, no, Sir Brennan.
The wee one
didn't
needs a
mean-
change too. We just haven't had time.
Forgive me, everyone. These are difficult circumstances, but none of you are to blame. I'm going up top lest I continue to be rude.
Right behind you.
Now, where did I... Oh, confound it.
What?
I left one of our bags up there. It had his music box in it. I must go up as well.
Not without me, you won't.
Yelloween, will you tend to the little one for a moment?
What?
And so the whole of our party, save Yelloween, Sir Brennan and the infant, ascended the ladder up to the deck, where the pirates were celebrating their new haul. Some of Olafson's precious cargo was a few dozen kegs of ale from Seahold. Wren had tapped 4 of those, and the whole crew was already a few sheets to the wind, drinking and carousing.
Well, Thief Queen, seems you can hold your ale, even if you can't hold a knife.
Hey, where do you get off saying I can't hold a knife?
To start with, the way your hands hang and they're all bandaged.
Well, now you've insulted me, and I demand satisfaction.
Cured to make it interesting.
5-finger pincushion. I win, I get your cabin for the night.
And what if I win? Since you already told me you piss paw.
A gift. From one of the finest fencing teachers in Amstrangad. You won't see craftsmanship like that robbing a bunch of second-rate bean counters.
A gift?
I resent the implication. Me and this fencing teacher were on very good terms. Till I realized he just wanted to show me his other sword.
Wren examined the blade for a long, careful moment.
You're on. You the guest? After you.
Whoa, bad idea.
Back off, girl. Your friend made a bet.
She's drunk off her ass.
You're drunk off your ass, Mom.
Cause she's drunk. So's my crew. And they've been promised a show. You'd be a fool to leave them frustrated.
Lady Arlene, perhaps instead you could regale them with a song.
Pardon?
The lady's voice is famous in some parts. Come now, my lady, quickly as you please.
Arlene timidly made her way to the center of the gathered ring of raiders, with Gwen beside her practically attached at the hip. She looked at her audience the way a deer looks at a bowman.
There were 2 sisters by the sea, maidens fair as fair can be. The younger's voice was the purest one, the elder's bright as candle in the sun.
The pirates slowly turned to listen to this rather clean and proper noblewoman and her small but strong voice.
To town one day there came a knight. The elder hoped to be his wife, that he'd love the younger, this she feared, soon as her voice he chanced to hear. She called out, "Sister, come with me. Let's go walking by the sea." The waves did crash, the wind did churn, but only the elder did return. Returned alone, returned alone. Fa la 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 do do.
What in the holy fuck is that rocket?
A song?
What kind of song is that?
Trying to bring a landlubber song on this boat.
Okay, why don't we teach the lady some of our favorite songs?
We're the salty sons of no one, sailing the red, red river. Though the sea gets rough, she's sticking tough. Gotta see her to believe
Oh, so cute. They have like a theme song. All right, I see where we're going. Okay.
As the pirates completely forgot about the dexterity contest between the 2 sovereigns on board and instead focused on shocking the Lady Arlene, Nelson noticed Billy sitting apart from the merriment, looking overboard at the water.
Hey, sup? You alright?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I never thought you'd turn down free beer.
Not feeling it tonight.
I never liked parties.
Did you go to any?
Yes, Billy, I went to parties. I mean, it wasn't hard to figure out where they were. There was a way people would get when they were drinking. You could just, like, hear it in how they laughed. And then I was never sure if some dumb drunk hick was gonna, decide to stop being polite around me, so I just stopped going.
Look, man, I know you're trying to be real with me, and I don't want to just throw it back in your face. But I can't deal with more shit right now. I'd just make it worse anyway.
You've actually done a lot right while we've been here.
Stupid.
I wouldn't say that if it
fuck
wasn't...
up. I should have just stuck to the plan like Regan said.
Didn't you? It seems like the sailors liked your little sticks cover.
Don't tell anybody this. But I steered us further out from shore. I thought it would help.
Wait. That's what you're upset about?
Yeah, because now we're captured by pirates and everything's fucked up.
Dude, you weren't steering anything. Yellowwing disconnected the rudder. Like, Jin was doing all the steering with the wind.
Oh. Really? Man, fuck that.
What? I thought you'd be glad. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything.
Yeah, I never fucking do anything. I'm not even a fuck up. I'm just dead weight getting dragged around like a big old floppy dick. This morning, Jen had to rescue me.
Yeah, she loves you. I'm sure she didn't mind rescuing.
Well, maybe I mind. It's dumb. I know it's my dad talking. That doesn't mean it doesn't feel shitty.
Man, Jen is something else. Like, clearly she's doing things here. We've seen her save lives, and I don't know much about relationships, but anyone can see you keep her on the ground somehow. If that's what you're good at, that's not nothing. I know it's not the most macho sounding thing, but what's macho ever gotten us?
Still feels shitty.
Yeah, I get it. But there's a lot of people right now with a lot more to feel shitty about. So, feel shitty, but get back in the game. Wanna get some beer?
I'm gonna stay out here a little longer. You go ahead. Do me a favor. Check in on Jen.
Okay.
Nelson, my lad, how do you fare?
Fine?
I'm going to look at the ocean. Ah, William, my lad, how do you fare?
I'm hanging in. You seem better.
Aye, that elf medicine is a blessing from Galadon. The sea is so large, and we're so small.
Yeah, I guess.
Set a man to wonder, what truly matters in life?
You sure you're feeling okay? You maybe want a sandwich?
We never traveled when I was young. Not sure my father ever saw the sea, but somehow I doubt he'd have found the beauty in it. Not a manful thing to find beautiful. And a man must always be manful, mustn't he?
Man, I am not on your
What
level.
does it mean to be a man? Is the image of manfulness we strive for truly a Galadon-given ideal? Or do we but tell ourselves that as we relive the sins of our fathers?
You know what? Fuck this. I am gonna get that beer.
Meanwhile, below deck.
All right, let's see here. Surely I can figure this out. Let's just
Oh God!
Oh, your superior senses are Galadon's gift, they say. Proof of your race's destiny to rule, they say. Oh!
Cut their throats and I joined this boat's. The rest is for the boat.
As the marauders continued their revelry, Gwen found her paramour leaning on the railing, observing the merriment.
Milady, come back down to the hold. I think we've had enough songs for one night.
I've had an idea. They like bawdy, bloody songs. Let us give them one.
What? Why?
They travel from port to port, do they not? One might presume they spread their songs with them.
And Galadon knows who else.
I abandoned my family.
Oh.
We're the salty sons of no one.
Do you remember the tale of Lady Barnard and little Mattie Groves? Suppose that instead of Barnard, the cold-hearted cuckold were called Ardell.
And for the first time since she had boarded the Red Reaver, the worry left Gwen's face and was replaced with a mischievous grin.
And what about little Matty Groves?
What about him?
Well, who said it had to be a him?
Beg pardon, I'd like to sing another song. Day of feasting, day of rest, of goodwill and good cheer. Lord Ardell's wife came down to court the scriptures for to hear. And when the reading it was done, she looked around the hall. Her eye was caught by Matty Groves, most handsome of them all. Hey down, most handsome of them all. Come home with me, young Matty Groves, come home with me tonight. And let us keep each other warm until the morning light. My lady, I'd love nothing more, but oh, to think the strife. The rings upon your fingers say you are my liege's wife. Hey down, you are my liege's wife. And what if I'm your liege's wife, your liege is not at home? He is out a-hunting stag, I pray he'll ne'er come home. And she told the servants of the house, if you my secret keep, my gold and silver and my lace and more besides you'll reap. Hey down, and more besides you'll reap. And none thought twice to take her gold besides one lowly page. Thought he no treasure man could count was worth Lord Ardell's rage. He met his liege as he rode home, Lord, I ne'er lie to you. If you approach most quietly, you'll see your wife's untrue.
Hey down, you'll see your wife's untrue.
And so the Lord slipped through the door and lifted up the sheets. The lovers, they awoke to see him standing at their feet. What's this, my wife? It vexed me so, but now I understand. All the years you've spurned my touch, you prefer a woman's hand.
Oh, hey down, you prefer a woman's hand.
Man or woman, all the same, I must now take your life. You've dragged my honor through the mud and taken to bed my wife. Kill me if you wish, my lord, and curse me far and near. It's plain to see your lady wife has made her choice most clear.
Hey down, has made her choice most clear.
And if honor, sir, you wish to claim, you'll have to spare my life. For you have two fine steel broadswords and I but a pocket knife. It's true I have two fine steel swords and dear they cost my purse. But you shall have the best of them and I shall take the worse.
Hey down, and I shall take the worst.
So Matty struck the very first blow, but little did it do. When Ardell raised his arm to strike, it seemed Matty was through. But then a blow came from behind that neither one foresaw. The lady stuck her lover's knife beneath her husband's jaw.
Hey down, beneath her husband's jaw.
And as Lord Ardell's blood ran out, so boldly spake his wife, you'd have stole the soul from me had I not stole your life. And yes, it's women I prefer, and yes, your touch I've vexed, but your cruel heart repulses me so far more than your sex.
Hey down, so far more than your sex.
The undertaker, fetch him quick, I smile to pay his toll. My husband was of noble blood, but Matty's of noble soul.
Hey down, Matty's of noble soul.
And Arlene couldn't help but smile with pride as the heretofore cold-faced brigands cheered for her song. Bryce Riverfell had ridden with Realism and her retinue some ways away from Freehold before they set up a small camp in which they could converse.
Far enough ride for you?
General, we've very sensitive matters to discuss. I'm sure you can appreciate the need for discretion.
Of course.
General Brennan of Greyfield was in your camp until very recently, was he not?
He's been knighted, you know.
We've reason to doubt that. Have you any idea where he was headed when he left your camp?
Generally, yeah.
Well?
Well, he told me in confidence, so it's not really mine to start spreading around.
General, this is not a sewing circle. I am ordering you to tell me what you know.
I respectfully refuse.
As a commander of the Civic Guard, you are bound to...
You know, I've been thinking it's about time I retired.
Is that your idea of a joke?
Repairs to the outer hold are done, and the rest are ahead of schedule. And any one of my captains is fit and ready to lead the garrison. Clarence would be my first choice, but Roy is a brilliant tactician.
Who in Brennan's party have you spoken to? What lies have they told you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Brennan wouldn't lie to me.
Who else have they spoken to?
No one but me. That I can swear to you. Excuse me.
Listen to me, you snide little shit. I don't give a damn if you retire. You will tell me what Brennan's party has been saying, who they've said it to, and where they've gone, and you will tell me now.
Agree to disagree. Excuse me.
This can be very unpleasant for you if you wish it so.
Believe it was you yourself taught me to resist torture.
Then how about that flea-bitten innkeeper you're sweet on?
Yeah, I knew you'd stoop to going after Maeve. Sure will miss her.
How about we go fetch her, pull out her nails and teeth in front of you?
You'd cause a whole lot of ruckus and bad will, and still not get what you wanted.
I don't believe your bluff for a second, you.
At last, Ree's elvish nose detected a very distinctive odor emanating from Bryce. Only then did she realize that she was not the cause of the oily sheen of sweat on his brow.
Oh, God's damn it!
And it was almost at that exact moment, back at Freehold, that the lieutenant colonel known as the Professor took it upon himself to tidy up his commander's office. As he picked up the drinking glass that Bryce had drained just before leaving, his trained herbalist's nose detected the same odor as Realism.
Oh gods, Bryce!
He raced to his storehouse and made straight for a jar in which was kept a particular mushroom known commonly as Lady's Farewell. The Professor closed his eyes and hung his head low. For gone were the mushrooms. Ree reacted quickly as soon as she realized.
Oh, God's damn it! Grab him! Put your fingers down his throat!
Too late for that, Lord Commander.
The elves restrained Bryce, but Bryce was already retching gobs of bile, tarry and crimson, onto the dusty ground.
Don't you do this, you goddamn coward! Don't you die! No! No! Answer my questions, you Riverfield son of a whore!
But Bryce had grown motionless and pallid, as his unblinking eyes stared accusingly at Ree.
God's damn these selfish, fragile vermin!
And thus did Bryce Riverfell, one of the greatest and most honourable warriors of his generation, draw his last breath, cursed, beaten, and spit upon, with his sword still sheathed, and laying in a puddle of his own sick. An ignoble death, nobly done. Peaceful be his rest. As the eastern horizon began to lighten, Wren walked her deck, surveying the damage the celebration had caused. Overall, the ship remained unharmed, but her crew would need some extra time to recover. She was surprised to find some of Regan's retinue slumped over a table along with several of her own.
See her to believe her. I am sailing on the red, red river. Oh, don't tell me you're bailing on the party, too.
No luck with Ulf after all.
Not in the cards, it seems. I think he was probably scared that little elf would be too drunk to stand straight.
That what you telling yourself?
Hey, fuck you, alright?
Relax! We're just taking the piss out. Could have told you before, you're backing up the wrong tree.
Oh. Really? How'd I miss that?
Girl, I've met pirates who like any damn thing you can imagine. But before Ulf, I never met a pirate who didn't like to fuck.
Huh. Okay.
But oh well, huh? If we were like everyone else, we wouldn't be pirates. Be glad you only spent one night confused. I spent months not knowing what I was doing wrong.
Well, in that case, Ren.
Oh, no. Not when there's business still to finish. Besides, Thief Queen, you couldn't handle me.
Well, now you've insulted me, and I demand satisfaction.
Both women looked up at the frantically ringing bell in the crow's nest.
Klaus, stop your foolishness, you drunken bastard!
Blockade!
What?
There's a blockade in front of the port!
Wren pulled a spyglass from her belt and pointed it towards the growing city. There, Wren saw 5 elven warships patrolling the entrance to the city port.
Well, I'm afraid this changes things. We can no longer smuggle you into Amstrangad. It's too dangerous.
What? The fuck that? We had a deal.
That was before, when I only half believed your royalty tale. My ass is done for if me set foot on shore with the elves around.
So, do I have to tell the whole underground that Red Wren's word is worthless?
Test me and you'll be telling it to the sharks. Or keep your mouth shut long enough to listen and see beyond your nose for me to tell you what I am willing to do for you.
I'm listening.
I can get you past the breakers a good ways south of the blockade. And you can still have a rowboat on the house.
You know damn well we can't row our way past 5 frigates.
Best offer. Take it or leave it.
Come on, Ren. We're cut from the same cloth.
Ha!
Let's put our heads
Have you
together.
heard a
rather
word
than
I
let the elves-
said? If we get anywhere near the city, you trot off my boat, blend in. My crew and I get strung up on sight.
I can't believe what I'm hearing from the fiercest pirate alive. How about this? We'll get back in some crates and barrels. A few of your strongest men dump us on shore. I can take it from there.
You deaf? Stupid? Or do you think I was born yesterday? Why should I risk my life and my crew's lives for you? May come up to the shore with an elf blockade, and there's no way they don't search the ship. And when they see me, no. My whole life I've stayed at sea as much as possible. My pa taught me that when I was a wee little thing.
At least you had a pa that you knew. Look, now's not the time for a round of who of the gods fucked worse. We can sit around a campfire someday, trade war stories.
You delusional twat. Pardon my lack of manners, your royal majesty, heir to the high throne. Me should know better. Insulting royalty might be a capital offense.
I was raised far from any throne.
And then you ran from one. Poor team. It's hard to have choices in life, isn't it?
You calling me a coward? I tried to tell you that the elves...
Reclaiming my time. No, I've given you your options.
Regan and Wren were locked in a death stare.
Hey, Mom? Oh, by God, you'll want to see this.
Alfie broke, or at least subdued, the tension as he barged onto the deck with the crying baby, followed closely by Arlene and Gwen.
What?
We can explain.
Shh. Great. You said there was a baby before you dropped it on me that you had an elf with you.
But look at his eyes, Mum. Might not have noticed myself if I hadn't gotten close.
Red-Eye Wren studied the babe's eyes. just the slightest bit redder than would have normally been seen in the human realms.
Which one of you two been dallying on the other side of the mountains?
Well, he's... Nope. Tell her where he's from. The truth.
We think its mother was an orc. We found her half dead, fleeing the battle at Freehold. Didn't know what else to do but take him in and hope no one noticed.
But the elves did. Which doesn't help your situation.
Ren peered at the baby again. Arlene, Gwen and Regan held their breaths as Ren stroked the baby's head and cheek.
Nice of you to not leave a little baby to die. May I hold him?
Yes.
No. He and I are cut from the same cloth.
As she bounced him gently in her arms and paced back and forth, his crying subsided.
Oh, poor thing. Yes, me know. Life upon the sea can be rough. But you're safe, little one.
Arlene, Gwen and Regan's eyes bounced cautiously from one another to Ren and the baby. Ren then stopped her pacing and rocked the baby back and forth in her arms while she stood in place. By this time he'd fallen asleep.
There's a cove. A treacherous one, mind you, that we could use as an entry point to Dark Adamstrangard. But we still need the cover of darkness, and we don't have the time to wait around for that.
What if I could get you some fog?
The fuck? Get me some fog?
My second. She can make fog. She's a mage.
So you, the illegitimate scion of House Grenatal, brought a runaway elf and a fugitive noblewoman with an orc baby on my boat. And now a star mage?
Ren attempted to cup the baby's ears by pressing him to her body and placing a hand on the exposed ear.
Who the fuck else you got with you, eh? The dead Prince Uta? Throw some cold water on your crew. There's work to do.
Arden, the so-called Annihilator, was not happy. He had been forced to give up pursuing the most direct path to the thing he sought due to the weather. Not that he couldn't stand the snow. He had, after all, recently been awoken from a block of ice. No, it seemed that the ancient warrior refused to leave his new companions alone and unprotected.
I fear those men are not long for this world. A storm-ridden mountain is hardly a suitable place for them, much less you or I.
Leave no man behind.
Right. We should be coming up to the tunnel soon. Hopefully these two will do the sensible thing and stay
Maguire had just set foot in a bear trap, snaring him to the spot and causing him quite a bit of damage to his already decaying ankle.
A fucking bear trap! What daft fool thought it would be a good idea to leave one so close to... Oh, Arden, we may have company soon.
We are too few to be a company. Full company requires many more men!
No, not a group of soldiers, you golem. These traps were set on this path for a reason, which means whoever set them is likely trying to catch people. You two, don't move an inch. There might be more.
A tree beside the two men with them erupted as it was struck with a blast of magic. Jethro and Traff emerged from trees along the path, weapons drawn.
Lay down your weapons. There's nothing you can do, and no way you can run. This one doesn't seem to get it. Big guy, though. Hey there, bigger fella. I bet you don't take no for an answer and get whatever you will to be yours. Care to use that power to help us? I mean, your friends here get to stay a-breathing.
Arden looked at the robed mage with contempt. He drew his warhammer, pointing it at Jethro.
Feel me, magic man. Prepare to die!
Arden took up a battle stance, which unfortunately caused him to step into another of the bear traps Traft and Jethro had set.
I told you, there's nowhere for you to...
Arden, seemingly undeterred by the trap lodged in his ankle, yanked it out of the ground and charged Jethro. The old mage barely dodged the massive warrior, retreating to the trees. Arden glared at the foliage, unsure of where his robed foe had disappeared to, before turning to Traft, weapon raised.
Tell me where your friend is gone. He's not my friend. You fight with him. Not by choice. All men choose who they fight with.
Traft stared at the hulking warrior in front of him. A glint of recognition crossed his face before setting into a look of determination.
Damn right they do.
With blinding speed, Traft threw his miner's axe towards Arden. The giant's eyes widened as the weapon whirred inches past him, embedding itself in Jethro's chest as he tried to sneak up on the Goliath. Jethro fell to his knees as he shot a look of rage and surprise at Traft. With a nod of respect towards said general, Arden turned to the humbled wizard, raising his hammer high, and, as with most of his enemies, brought the hammer down upon Jethro's head, shattering it with one strike. Though an astute observer might have noticed that Jethro's body went limp a moment before Arden's devastating blow.
Damn spooky son of a bitch had it coming a mile away.
Arden, I'm glad you made a new friend and all, but would you mind getting me out of this blasted trap? These two seem to be no help at all.
The two orcs stood awestruck, not at yet another show of Arden's strength, but at Traft. Both ran to Traft's feet, kneeling and weeping to see him alive.
Well, not quite what I was expecting.
Get up. I'm not your leader anymore.
Arden took in the scene before deciding to free both Maguire and himself from the bear traps.
Thank you, Arden. I gather you're someone I ought to know.
Gather I could say the same. That old bastard we killed had a cabin up the path a ways. I'm headed there anyway for supplies. Plenty to go around. Come in out of the cold a bit and we can talk about how we got here.
So as these five warmed their fingers and toes by the late Jethro's hearth, the two young orcs regaled Maguire and Arden regarding the rise and temporary fall of Comrade General Traft Sixhills, the forger of clans and smasher of gates, born of an Easterner and raised by the elves, who burned many eastern forts.
Das ist ein good friend to Motherland. Not nearly as glamorous as they make it sound. Promise. But, yeah, I've fought to free my people from elven slavery, and I aim to keep doing so.
Well, in that case, we're kindred spirits.
The big fella. If I didn't know better, I'd say he matched the description of
Arden the Annihilator.
The Annihilator's been dead for 3,000 years.
Not dead so much as imprisoned with magic. I, on the other hand, have been dead for 3,000 years.
Maguire lowered his hood to reveal the mummified death mask that was presently his face. Traft could not help but be taken aback.
How?
What do you know of the arcane arts?
Traft's eyes flicked back in the direction of Jethro's cellar.
Well, a whole lot more than I used to, I'll tell you that.
Well, you should keep at your studies. Turns out any idiot can get quite good. To answer your question, I'm here because one such idiot so wanted to buff one of his schoolmates that he learned how to disturb the rest that should not end.
Raise the dead, you mean? Where is this idiot? I've got some questions I'd like to ask him.
Matron only knows. Left him on an ice floe after the Annihilator annihilated what was left of his body.
Well, I see.
Believe me, your life is better for not having known him. If you like, I can teach him most of what he knew, and the rest, well, best to leave it forgotten.
I appreciate the offer.
Yes. I was called Fen Maguire.
I've read about you. You were a general in the rebellion of the Unnamed King.
Queen!
What's that?
Queen! Queen Irana Siobhan McCool was the name the elves erased from history.
Great queen. Greatest queen!
Aye, she was an excellent queen. Speak no ill of her. It was a badly kept secret that Arden carried a bit of a torch.
Did not. I fought for safety of motherland.
And yes, I did lead one of her armies.
Well then, kindred spirits indeed. Where y'all headed after this?
Under the mountains.
Fixing to get back west?
Not just yet, but we'd be happy to point you in the right direction.
What are you going for then, if you don't mind me asking?
Heroes Arsenal.
Ever heard of it? We're after McConnor's shield first.
You gonna tell me that tall tale's true as well?
Young man, I've seen it wielded in battle. Iron can't pierce it, and elf silver flies right around it.
Well, shit. Today's just a day for learning, I suppose. Listen, General, I'm inclined to travel with you a ways if you wouldn't mind.
Not at all.
Unfortunately, I ought to get going soon, weather be damned. Some folks looking for me I'd rather not meet.
That's well enough. The snows only like to get worse the longer we wait.
There's some food in the cellar, but some of it you wouldn't want to eat. I'll gather what's good, then we can get along.
A few minutes later, Traft emerged from the cellar with a full pack.
All right, let's go. I am inclined to burn this place to the ground before we do, though.
Aye, and I'm sure you've ample reason, but better not to. Should the snows worsen quickly, we'll be glad to have shelter we can return to.
Suppose that's wise. All right, then.
Traft gestured to his new companions that they might leave first. Maguire bowed politely and then obliged. But before Traft left, he stopped in front of Jethro's portrait and its uncannily lifelike eyes.
Thanks for the supplies. Maybe I'll find what you were looking for. Either way, good riddance.
Traft turned and walked out the door, joining his new travelling companions, unaware that the eyes he was just staring into followed him all the way. Having worked out their differences for the moment, Ren and Regan saw to getting Regan's party where they needed to be.
You're sure you can keep that thing from squawking?
Aye, Your Grace.
And you'll keep us hidden as long as we need it?
Oh yeah, sure thing. So, you tie the ropes at certain lengths and that tells you how far away the object is.
Oh yeah, the key is being consistent with your throws. Results won't mean much if the measurement is inconsistent.
Ulf, quit showing off to your new friend and get to the bow. We'll need your fancy rope soon enough.
Ren looked over the Reaver one last time before nodding to one of her crewmates to lower their boarding ship into the water. The boat effortlessly dropped into the water on the starboard side, concealing it from the blockade. With a nod from Regan, Jen raised her hand into the air. Slowly, a mist gathered around, hiding the skiff's passengers and its light wake as the oars gently guided them towards the shore. After a few moments, Ren gave a nod to Alf. The second mate lifted a harpoon made of light wood and tipped with a piece of pumice with a lead of coloured rope. With a measured arm, Alf threw the harpoon in the water at a shallow angle with barely a whisper of a splash. Alf let the rope feed through his hands until he grabbed the end. He waited for a moment and then pulled the harpoon, which had floated to the surface, back to the boat. This happened again and again, Alf leaning forward, listening for something. And then, at the sound of the thud, Alf's hand snapped shut on the rope. He noted the colour, made a gesture to Ren at the rudder, and drew the harpoon back in, only to throw it once more. a shadow gradually formed into the shape of an elven ship. Brennan and Nia hurriedly pulled in their oars as the ship loomed ever larger above them. The small boat was turning to angle itself parallel to the great craft to travel in its opposite direction, but had too much momentum to avoid collision. Alf widened his stance across the width of the boat and held out his harpoon. As the soft pumice hit the hull of the ship, the great pirate pushed off of it with his harpoon, causing the rear of the boat to only graze the warship. Unfortunately, elvish ears are finely attuned. Ren knew as much, and with a flurry of sharp looks and brusque hand gestures, managed to get the rowing crew back to work. The group spent the silent, tense journey out from under the ship, looking up at the dark form of the deck that lay in the mist. Just as the boat got out from under the ship, two elves approached the railing of their ship near where the boat had been.
Why, Brixirta?
The thick mist provided the rowboat ample coverage from where they stood.
So, did we...
Billy threw up his hands defensively, returning to his oar. At the sound of his harpoon hitting an object, Alf raised a fist into the air. Ren motioned for the rowing to stop. Alf sent one more hand signal to Ren, who set the rudder in its last position. As the boat ran aground parallel to the shoreline, Ren and Alf reached out to catch well-worn rocks in a motion used hundreds of times before.
Well, Thief Queen, this is where we part ways.
Appreciate the ride, Ren.
Can you keep that fog going a little while longer, gal?
Yeah, how long do you need?
15 minutes?
Should be enough to get back to the Reaver.
You got it.
Babe, you sure? You look pretty zonked.
I'll tough it out. Alf, did you ever think about using a crossbow for your rope trick? It should be easier to keep consistent than your arm.
Oh yeah, sure. Thought about it, tried it. Never could get the figures sorted.
Yeah, it's a squared relationship. The energy stored in the bow is the draw distance times itself, times some constant specific to the bow.
Times itself, you say? Well, now that changes things. Thanks for the tip, little miss.
Ren, think about my offer, all right? Admiral's good work if you can get it.
I still don't think you got a snowflake's chance in Summer Hole at the High Throne. But, if me wrong, perhaps you'll hear from me. Let's be on our way, Alfie.
You all be well now.
Meanwhile, at the site of the unceremonious death of the great Bryce Riverfell, we find Relotit as we left her, fuming over being outmaneuvered, yet again, by an opponent who was worthy indeed. She had, however, moved on to a subsequent step in the grieving process, if you will, burying the dead. That is, she barked orders at the men charged with disposing of the general's body in a nearby ditch.
Quickly! Now burn him. I'd have you piss on him first if there were time.
A messenger pigeon descended onto Ree's shoulder. Its message bore the seal of the faculty of the College of Armstrongard. Ree withdrew a few steps from her company and began silently reading the eagerly anticipated correspondence.
Greetings, Lord Commander. In response to your query, I am writing to confirm that I am well acquainted with the clerical acolyte after whom you inquired. Nia is a former pupil of mine, humbly born to clergy in Seahold.
Ree beamed as she held Barlokia's letter to her chest, like a note from a dear friend or a lover with whom she was eager to reunite.
Do you require a recommendation on her behalf? Perhaps
Humbly born to clergy in Seahold.
Ree obviously did not bask in her reverie for too long. Within moments, a messenger pigeon was dispatched to Seahold. We turn our attention there now, just as an elvish officer believes she is finishing a conversation with the town's humble clergy.
I appreciate your time, Reverence.
Please, my lord. Mildred and Ben. And you're very welcome, of course.
I'll take my leave of you now.
The humble priest and priestess bowed low before turning and walking away. When the pigeon arrived, and the Major saw its message bore the personal seal of her Lord Commander, she hastily unfurled and read it.
Reverend Mildred, Reverend Ben.
Yes, my lord?
Am I right to understand you've a daughter named Nia? She left here to study in Armstrong God.
Mildred and her husband shared a look of grave concern.
What's happened?
Oh, I'm afraid your daughter is in grave, grave peril. I must ask you to come with me. Quickly, as you please.
The Once and Future Nerd is directed by Christian T. Kelly Madera. It is created and executive produced by Zach Glass and Christian T. Kelly Madera, and co-executive produced by Jess Kelly Madera. Alex Story and Ryan Cushman are associate producers. It is performed by
Rhiannon Angel,
Garrett Arman, Dan Dobransky,
Anya Gibeon,
Ian Harkins,
Shannon Harris,
Paul Notice,
Juliet Prather,
Frank Quarez,
Julie Reed,
Gregory M. Schultz.
Special guest appearance this chapter by Charlie, an improvised musical team. Production audio recording by Jared Paul, editing by Christian T. Kelly Madera.
Post-production mixing and sound design by Dylan Garrity, Oliver Morris, and Pedro Tarago.
Tom Lee is our musical director and lead composer.
Additional scoring by Chris Montalbo and Oliver Morris.
For more, visit onceandfuturenerd.com or find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, or Reddit.